Okay, I need to tell you something. My friend Jake once said 3 words to me that changed my life. Not in a good way. Those 3 words were, I know a stock. And here I am, telling you this story. Alive. Almost unscathed. Almost. All right, let me introduce the players in this story. First, that's me, Max. Regular guy. Investing quietly on the side. Bought an S&P 500 ETF a couple years ago. Sleep fine, eat fine, live fine. Portfolio grows. Slowly, boringly, reliably. I'm like the tortoise from that fable. You know the one? The one that wins in the end? That's me. And the second player, Jake. Jake is my best friend from college. Smart, charismatic, always 146% confident in himself. Jake has 3 monitors, subscriptions to 5 premium analytics services, alarm set for 5:45 a.m. because Asian markets. Jake trades stocks, actively, aggressively, with the enthusiasm of someone who has nothing to lose. Jake always knows the next big stock, and Jake always wants to share that knowledge with me. That's the problem. So, before Jake, my investing life was simple. Every month, I'd set aside part of my paycheck, buy the ETF, close the app, go live my life. An ETF is like buying a tiny piece of the 500 largest companies in America with one button. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, all inside. Instantly. No picking, no analysis, no stress. Imagine, instead of picking one fruit and praying it's good, you just take the whole basket. Sure, there'll be a couple of sour ones in there, but the mango and the cherries more than make up for it. The fees are laughable. Some funds charge 0.03% per year, $3 on every 10,000 per year. Historically, the S&P 500 returns around 10% annually over the long run. Not every year. Sometimes minus 30, sometimes plus 25, but on average, 10%. I knew this. I was happy. I was calm. And then Jake called. Max, bro, listen. I know a stock. There it is. Those 3 words. What stock, Jake? A battery company for electric vehicles. Small. Nobody knows about it yet. But I've done my analysis. This is the next Tesla, Max. I'm serious. Jake, I have ETFs. I'm good. Max, your ETF will give you 10% a year. 10! This stock could do 200% in 6 months. 200, Max! And that's when the tortoise inside me tripped. 200%, you say? Jake welcomed me like a true guru. He walked me through his monitors, explained Japanese candlesticks. Not the kind you put on a dinner table, the ones on charts. Although the illusion of comfort they create is surprisingly similar. Look, says Jake, see this pattern? Cup and handle. That's a bullish signal. Stock's going up. What's that one? I ask, pointing at another chart. Oh, that's head and shoulders. Bearish signal. It'll drop. And that's, Jake squinted. That's a double bottom. Trend reversal. Buy. I stared at these charts thinking, they all look the same. Like a heart monitor of someone on their 5th espresso. But Jake spoke with such confidence, and I bought. A small amount, just to try. The stock was called, it doesn't matter what it was called. What matters is what happened next. The first week was beautiful. The stock was up 11%. I checked the app every 15 minutes, watched the green numbers, smiled, checked again, watched again. Jake sent a voice message. He was yelling something about, I told you so, and welcome to real investing. I felt smart, genuinely smart. You know that feeling? When you think you finally cracked the system? That everyone else just doesn't know what you know? That feeling, right there, is the most dangerous moment in investing. Remember it. Fear it. In week 3, the stock started dropping. Just a little. 3%. Jake, it's dropping. Max, that's a correction. Totally normal. Hold. I held. Minus 7%. Jake? Max, this is your chance to average down. Buy more while it's cheap. Averaging down is when you buy more of a falling stock to lower your average purchase price. Sounds smart. In practice, it's called catching a falling knife with your bare hands. I bought more. The stock dropped 20%, and then the news dropped. The company announced financial difficulties. Turns out their batteries didn't work quite as well as the presentation had promised. The lead engineer quit. 3 major investors pulled out. Minus 38%. I called Jake. Jake, Minus 38. Max. Jake went quiet. Listen, I've got another stock. When I showed up at Jake's, something was off. One of the 3 monitors was off. 3 empty coffee mugs on the desk. Jake was staring at charts with the look of a man searching for the meaning of life in random lines. Jake, how's your portfolio? Silence. Jake? I'm restructuring my strategy, he said without turning around. I leaned over to look at his monitor. Minus 21% over 6 months, while the S&P 500 was up 9. And there's your live illustration of what the data already tells us. Around 85 to 90% of active investors underperform the index over a 10-year period. And that's the professionals, with Bloomberg terminals at $25,000 a year and entire teams of analysts. Jake was a smart guy. He worked harder than anyone. He analyzed more than anyone. And he still lost to a boring ETF. We sat in silence for about 5 minutes. Then Jake said, "Hey, how's your ETF doing?" "Up 9 for the past 6 months." "You didn't do anything?" "I watched a show, went on a trip, learned how to make risotto." Long pause. "That's not fair," says Jake. "That's the market," I say. And that's when I realized something important. The right answer isn't ETF or stocks. The right answer is understanding why you're investing in the first place and how much time and stress you're actually willing to put in. Most serious investors keep 70 to 90% in ETFs. That's the foundation. Boring, reliable, working quietly in the background. The remaining 10 to 20% can go into individual stocks, if you genuinely understand the company, if you're prepared to lose that money. If it's not money you can't afford to lose. This is called the core and satellite strategy. Sounds sophisticated. Works even better than it sounds. Jake stared at it for a long moment, then nodded. "Makes sense," he said. "Hey, actually I found this quantum computing company." All right. The moral of this story: ETFs aren't for the lazy. They're for people who are honest with themselves. The market is more complex than it looks, and there's no need to pretend you're smarter than it. Trading isn't evil, but it's real work, with real losses. And most people aren't prepared for what it actually costs, in time, in nerves, and in money. The best investment plan is the one you'll actually stick to, not the one that looks perfect on paper. The one that won't have you calling your friend in a panic at 3 in the morning. By the way, Jake is still trading stocks. He says he has a new strategy now. I'm happy for him. I don't believe him, but I'm happy for him. My wish for you this week: open your portfolio, look at it honestly, and ask yourself, am I investing with a strategy, or am I investing on a feeling? If it's on a feeling, now you know there's another way. If you already have a strategy, good for you. Seriously. If you don't have a portfolio yet, now's the time to start. Even with a small amount, even with just one ETF, the important thing is to begin. If this video was helpful, drop a like. It takes 1 second and it means a lot to the channel. Subscribe if you're not already. Every week we break down finance without the fluff, without the jargon, with Max and Jake and whatever genius idea Jake has cooked up next. See you in the next one. Take care. And may your portfolio always be green.